Man, I can't believe it. I found an old show that I used to watch called The Expanse. Now, it's kind of spoiler alerts. I'm a little rusty, so it might not spoil as much. But I started watching the fourth season, the first episode. And this whole is kind of like a Game of Thrones, but it's in space. And I believe when I first started watching it, it was on sci fi. And I used to have a different service. I have YouTube TV now, which is kind of like what cable used to be. You get all the channels except you can pay more for HBO and all that. But I had PlayStation View, which they started their own network watching TV channels. So I had it on there. So once you get a DVR set up, I had the Expanse automatically recorded, but it's been a couple of years since I've had PlayStation, so I'd forgot. I thought maybe I watched the last Expanse, but I realized it just started. A new season is airing this month. I think it's on the fifth or sixth season, but I've just started watching the fourth, and I was like, wow. It starts out a spoiler alert for what I remember, so it might not spoil it too much. But there's a promo molecule, and this molecule is alien, and nobody knows where it come from, and it's been on certain ships or space stations, and it takes over and it consumes the people, and they'll just freeze them kind of in time and takes over them. Other people they've experimented with, and it's turned them into a hybrid where they can just go out in space, and they're like super pro molecule people, and they has an intelligence. It wants to survive. There was a guy he was trying to figure out the whole thing. He was a detective, and the main thing of this, they have the belters. People that they've been in space so long, and they'll mine the asteroids, looking for any minerals that are important, and they're always trying to make money. Trying to mine the income, but it's a rough life. It's very dangerous. It's working in space. They're very skilled, but since they're not around gravity, it's hard for them to survive on the Earth planet or any planet with atmosphere. And then Mars is colonized, and the gravity is real heavy on Mars, so they can go to a regular planet and they're like super strong. And it has Mars, it has the belters, and then it has Earth, and everybody's trying to control everything. And this, like, the UN is in New York, and the lady that's over it, she's cool. I forget her name. She has a foreign accent, but she's always saying cussing. They don't say frack anymore. They say the full word. So be prepared for that. But the whole what I remember the first three seasons, it was about this promo molecule and how everybody was dealing with it, and they were trying to take control of it, and some people were hiding it, and they had like the independent people, and finally, so when this promo molecule went with the detective crashing the planet trying to destroy it, well, it ended up creating these big old rings, kind of like Stargate, but it's like it put a ring in space, and you can go through it, and it opens up a whole new universe with new planets. So instead of three areas the humans that are here need to survive, it's open like 1,300, unlimited possibilities. So the Earth and some of Mars and some of the belters that they've had, like the police, they're wanting to have a blockade and keep people from going through it unless they have a passcode. So a lot of refugees, they want a better life. And they say, like, oh man, there's 1,300 pilots. So let's go. You know, like a ship of 100 people. Everybody has a ship, no matter what your status is, but they might not have weapons. Well, they're trying to go through this ring to go to a new planet. 4 ships went through there. Yep. It's the beginning of season 4. And some of them, the Belters, you know, since they're in space, they're having to go back to spaceship because they can't stand to being on the orbit. So they think that one of the planets has this promo molecule on, and the promo molecule could destroy the whole universe. It'd take over everything. So they want to go and see if this planet has the promo molecule on. It's very dangerous. But you know, his name is James, you know. So one of the space captains, he's assigned by the UN Secretary General to go check out the planet, see if there's danger. Him and his little crew he has. You know, he has a lady and a captain and, you know, like a sergeant arms. That's real cool. You know, and they're going to see what's going on with this planet. So a ship just went into the atmosphere and it got shot up and it was full of people. 23 people just got killed and the ship crashed on Earth. And they said, well, that ship shouldn't have landed there. You know, so a lot of things that happen, all kind of things that happen in the show. So I can't spoil it too much because my memory's kind of faded, but you need to watch this show. It is awesome. But a lot of things happen in the UN, or they'll do like a political twist, and if it doesn't really affect things, or they'll twist it to their advantage. So a lot of people do things and they don't get in trouble for it, or some people do things and now they're most wanted. Like James, this captain, was wanted because they were out there and nobody really knew the true story, what happened. And then they cleared themselves, but they're the ones that opened up these rings, or this one ring that they activated after the promo molecule went to the planet. It caused this big old ring. You can see through it, but you fly your ship through it, and it's like entering kind of another dimension, but it has different planets and different universes to explore. So the Expanse is getting expanded. You know, it's it's a cool show if you like science. And also, I think the show Being Human, it was about a ghost and a guy who was a werewolf and a vampire. And I don't think they hit a human, but it was stationed out in New York, and they had to go through different things, you know, and that show ended. But the guy that was a vampire, I think his name on the show was Josh. Well, when they went back on the second season, and they showed how they actually developed the rocket where they could go real fast. They had to take certain chemicals so their body could sustain it. And he was the first one to man a rocket and fly this way. And I don't know if he survived, but they had like an Academy sponsor for him to get on the show. And this is just a food for thought. Okay. So these rockets are coming back in from space. Now Tesla might have, or Elon Musk and his guys, you know, they probably watch science fiction because it's cool, and they're thinking about space. They say, you know, let's make this let's make this stuff a reality. So, you know, now the rockets that SpaceX has can land back, reusable rockets. Well, the spaceships, they launch off the little shuttles and they can land. So they're kind of like a reusable rocket, unless they're getting shot down. You know, so the more people, it's more dangerous. You know, it's kind of like the wild, wild Expanse. Instead of, you know, wild space, they have all kind of weapons, and everybody's maneuvering for money and power, and people want jobs. You know, so it's a cool show, and I'm glad it come back on the air. It used to be on Sci-Fi, and I think now it's called a Amazon original. But it's airing right now in December. I think the second episode of it's airing right now, the second episode of season 6. So I got 2 whole seasons to watch, and then I catch up on season 6. There's just so much good TV, and I'm not really doing anything right now except watching TV, making YouTube, and working, trying to get in affiliate marketing. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of at a loss to figure it out, but I'm looking at things. So if I do well at that, I'll make another thing about affiliate marketing and have it share it up under the different icons or whatever. But yeah, man, the Expanse is so cool because it's all humans, but they've evolved on different territories. Like the Belters, they're half as strong because they're in space. And, a lot of them have they talk with a different accent. And they have like tattoos, and there's a whole society that's whole different. Whoever developed this show, hats off to them. It's really cool. Earth is Earth. But it's all about whoever wants the most. Everybody's trying to rule and have the most power, and then Mars, of course, they they want to have power too. So this is probably where I could be wrong, but this might be where Elon Musk wanted to go to Mars. He said, "Hey, let's cool, let's do that." So art imitates life. Sometimes life imitates art. Because Elon Musk could have watched the Jetsons where they had self-driving cars. Now they're having self-driving cars. You know, but the ideas repeat themselves a while. I remember my dad telling me a long time ago when he was young, and he'd come up with these ideas. He said, "Wouldn't it be cool if the watch had a date on it?" You know, that's probably before digital watches come out. I don't know when they come out, but he was, maybe in his teens, and he used to run track. So he'd drive a school bus. So he had a lot going on. Then he went in the military, but the Navy, and he'd think of these ideas. So I wouldn't say it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's society that influences your ideas. The ideas come from somewhere, you know, but a lot of things that you think about, even though you see TikTok and people follow the trends and they keep reenacting certain trends and they have their own twist on it. People are very creative. And even though certain TV networks, people wrote scripts and they'll take it over. So, it's always human nature. Somebody's going to try to take everything, but some people come up with an idea. You might have 100 people that thought of this idea. So it makes you wonder, where do these ideas come from? Is it just evolution, or is it the need for that? Or, hey, you got peanut butter and you have these chocolate cookies. Wouldn't that go good together? I mean, just people thinking. You think about all the things we eat now, where it come from, all these ideas. And if you thought of it, there's no telling how many other people have thought of it. So, the way to make money, if you can find a need, if there's a need for something, like somebody wanted to, instead of having a kid a calendar, figure out, was it Friday or Saturday? They put it on a watch. Well, then they come up with a phone. Then they come up with an app. So if you can find a need that's being unfulfilled and then fill that need, you make money. If you need a car that drives by itself and that becomes mainstream, and then the government's, I think Britain 2035 is supposed to quit allowing combustible engines being built. So everything's pushing towards that, and you're going to see all upswings and low swings, but eventually there'll be self-driving cars. They'll be cheaper, and hopefully it'll be more affordable instead of paying, gas going up to $3 in some areas and higher in other areas. But instead of paying, I don't know, maybe $30 a week, depending on how much you drive, or $60 a week, you could pay, hopefully it'll be cheaper, but eventually it'll probably go up like everything else does. But it'd be like maybe $10 a month. And then you'll be able to get your phone or your watch or whatever technology we were using at that time. And I'm probably about 70. I'm 50 now. 20 years, and it might not even come out to the rural areas, but you might have to have a parking place. If you live out in the rural areas, you probably had to go park your car in like a designated parking area and then use your phone or watch or headset or whatever you got or something tied into your car, and then you'll be able to call your car to come pick you up and take you where you need to go and bring you back to your car, and then you can drive your car to the back home till they get the infrastructure. you know we got 5G, which is, I think it's 100 times more than 4G. So just think about once we get to like 10 or 20G, we'll probably have to wear helmets to shield ourselves from all the signals going around, or you'll be walking around, huh? What? Strawberries and ice cream on out in the country with a tree? There's no telling. You know, but hopefully people still be able to sit around and talk. Most time you go places, people got their phones on, so they don't listen to people. Don't communicate anymore. It's like, hey, how you doing? You know, but it's kind of good because people can watch me talk while somebody else is talking. I just wanted to share that. The Expanse is so cool. I got off on a tangent, but man, I made a lot of chocolate right now, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna finish this first episode of The Expanse season 4, but season 6 is already out, so I have a bunch to catch up on. Wow, all my shows I can't keep up, but it gives me something to talk about. So stay cool. Don't forget to watch The Expanse. It's an older show, but it's still playing, so it's relevant, and you can go catch up. Like just search those 123.net or something like that. Make sure you got your virus protection on, and or get your Amazon. Watch it on Amazon TV. A lot of cell phones now come with a prescription to TV. Which is weird. And then I guess you go to Straight Talk, you can get just a phone with internet. For half the price if you pay auto pay. So who knows? It's weird. Like my phone's like, the model is 5 years old. It's a J7, 12 megapixel camera. And even though the new phone that costs $1,300 to $1,500, some of them have a 12 megapixel camera, and they have like 4 cameras, but they cost, as much as what a car used to cost in like 1989. You could get a nice car for $1,000. It wouldn't last you maybe 200,000 miles if you put $2,000 in it, because everything's gonna fall apart. The water pump, everything. But don't forget to watch The Expanse. It is awesome. Stay cool. Woo!